Okay, good evening. This is a webinar by the Torah Resource Center. I'm Georgina Lewis, and our topic tonight is websites, the differences between websites, how to get started with websites, and the process to develop in a website. So the first thing I want to do is I have samples of websites up. We're going to jump into all these different types of samples. We're first going to talk about some basic concepts. So there's three basic concepts to websites or terminologies that we use out in the industry today. The traditional things that you will typically hear people talk about are there are blog websites, there's e-commerce websites, and there's also what we call CMS, Content Management System websites. So understanding the basics of those three types of websites, we're going to talk about the differences, and then we're going to go into what makes a website edgy. What's an older looking website? What's a newer looking website? What makes it modern? What are things you should look for? I have some samples of all of those. So our first example are blog sites. I'm bringing up a more traditional layout of a blog site. A blog site is somewhere where we want to put up articles that we've written, and we've talked about this in other webinars that we've had. We want to write an article, we want to optimize that article, we want to put it on our website, and that helps us get Google points and get up the ranking if we do that blog well. So websites are great if they have a section to them that have a blog content available. But what's happened through the trend in the last couple years is that people will combine a blog and a content management site. This happens to be an example of just a straight blog site. It's pretty straightforward. It has, the name and the title. It has a couple cool features where it will give you a pull-down window. This particular layout is called a theme, and it has a message at the top. But what's really cool about this, and this is what makes it edgy, is that the pictures rotate and it tells you what I'm all about. Okay? Another example of this is a tour. We did a tour, Desert Junior Golf Tour, and their site also has blogs, but now it also has content. So there's a balance between blogs and content. And so this becomes an evolution of a new term called Content Management Systems, CMS, because they have content on their site, and the majority of what's on their site is content. On their home page here, they have a section down this left side that's called blogs, and these are all their articles. But then all of these tabs, and notice this is something that's different. Okay, so this makes it more edgy. We have tabs, and the tabs are pull-down tabs. And I don't know if you can see this or not, but those tabs are transparent. So I can actually see behind those tabs. And when you pull this website up on your own browser, you'll be able to see that very evident and clearly, that it's a little transparent and I can see the item behind the tab. So that's a cool feature. This makes it more modern. All right. If I can hover over the logo, you can see my mouse up here hovering over this logo on the top. I hover over this logo area, and if that logo is clickable, that means, okay, it's a more modern type of website. That's the new trend. A lot of the younger generation, they don't have the home button that we've seen in the traditional websites. Now, we put it on this website because we're, built the website, Desert Junior Golf Tour, for many audiences. We built it for the younger generation and for the parents and the older generation. So we need to have that home button, but the younger generation probably will go right here to this logo. That logo will take them back to the home page. So that's another thing to watch when you're looking at other sites. That's a cool feature. It's a modern feature. This particular layout, being a content management site, all right, it has what we call on the right here is a sidebar. So a lot of times you're going to hear people talk about a sidebar on the left content in the middle, sidebar on the right. All right, we have that at the Tour Resource Center. We have a lot of our pages in the junior sections where we have a lot of information to show. So we have content left, sidebar, and sidebar right. So it's a combination. We can do content and sidebar, content, sidebar. And these are just terminologies I'm giving you. So these are things that once you hear this from me and you start looking on the web, you'll start gleaming more and more, and you'll get that, and you'll go, oh, I understand now what she meant by that. All right? So that's a content management system. I'm going to give you another example of another site that you can look at. We're going to go to WeDevelopYou.com. All right? This is a great representation where 99% of this site is all content management. And then there is a section, a smaller section, that is more blog or article related. So they're still getting that news out there, but they're also pulling in clients through feeds and pushing out feeds to other websites to report their news. So let's talk about that. So now we're into content management systems that have a portion that are blogs, but also have a lot of other features, and we're going to talk about those other features. So this site here, again, I hit the site. I've got a background that has got some depth to it. Mike Riggs, he came from a website that had solid blue. The solid blue that you now see as I pull the bar down, you'll get to see that that side was solid blue. And we said, no, let's give it some depth. All right? So we replaced the solid color with a background image. You guys can go to iStockPhoto.com, Dreamscapes. There's a lot of places that have background images that they sell. This is one that we designed for him, and we put a gradient color on it where it's darker at the top and lighter at the bottom. Backgrounds, especially dark backgrounds, are very in right now. It's an easy way to give your website a facelift by going darker and not having to redo it all of the time. So that's about backgrounds. The layout itself, as you can see, this has a rotating pictures. So I can sit here and I can watch this website and I can go, okay, you know, Mike Riggs, he has one-way programs. He's a mental golf coach that teaches other coaches how to be one-way coaches. He does sports, he does life, he does golf, he does business. He does a variety of really healthy programs, and I get that just by watching these slideshows. These are slideshows. These are not Flash. We're going to talk about translating your website in a moment. It's really important to try to get away from Flash. There's new articles out that Google does not convert Flash. So if you want to translate your whole site, and I'm going to show you how to do that, it's so easy in just a second. You cannot do that if you have Flash going on your website. So remember that. If someone's trying to sell you Flash, they're old school. It's just changing that quickly. Google won't translate Flash. Google won't recognize pages with Flash. And there are press releases and articles out there about that now, and I will share that with you if you just want to email me later. All right? Now, what's really nice about this layout is he has the oh, by the way buttons up here at the top. And this is something, the trend you're going to see more and more. You're going to see the About, the Archives, and the Subscribe buttons somewhere in the top right, somewhere out of the way. Okay, again, his logo is clickable, which makes it, okay, he's, you know, edgy. He's now has these different drill down or drill in pages. We can pull this bar down. I was just there, and we're going to go back down to the footer area, and in the footer he recaps and has other columns of information. Here's his blog section over to the right. So each time he posts a blog, it moves one down and puts the most current here. Now when we go in to a program, let's say one of his pages, we're going to go in, and everything in this particular layout has now changed. So now we have a content on the left and we have a sidebar on the right. What's really nice about this is he's got an email program. Join our e-newsletter now. That is with a product called Constant Contact. Okay, so then the last thing I want to do before I move into translations, so I want to talk about, I'm going to give you another site, getinthezone.net. And what's really nice about this is also a mental coach for golf, Dr. Denise McGuire. And so she has a very similar layout. She liked this layout. And what's really nice is she went in and she set up a buy now. It's kind of a storefront. It's a combination of a text page and a storefront without having to put a whole storefront a la carte system into her website. All right? So you don't have to go out there and put ZenCart or something heavy, a heavy product into your site just to allow your users to go ahead and buy something now and to order something from you. I have that on my site. I have the ability for people to go in and to subscribe. And when they want to subscribe, they can just go click on my Subscribe Now button. When they want to buy a package from Dr. Denise, they can just go in and they can look at her packages and they can just click on it, and then she gets an email confirmation that it's done. So I'm sure most of you are familiar with this. It's done with PayPal, which is probably the most common. There are other products out there, and PayPal allows people to use either a PayPal account or a credit card account. PayPal, now you can buy your plane tickets with PayPal. So people are really moving towards that vertical, and if people are going to move towards PayPal, set yourself up a PayPal and put those buttons up on your site. And we can talk about later, you know, how offline, how to create those, you know, merchant buttons. It's pretty easy. Trey K, mywebid.biz. You know, he put together his website. He has a blog site. All right, so we're going back to blogs again for a second. But look at this Edgy site. This site, this theme, the site moves and the background is static. It does not move. So I'm going to pull this bar down, and I hope you guys can see this. In a second, you're going to see that the website moved. And I don't know if you can see the image in the webinar. And if not, you can go to treyk.mywebid.biz independently after the webinar. And you can play with this, and you can see how we pull this, his blog site down, but the background does not move. It's a marbly background. It's a very, very cool feature. So cool, edgy, dark backgrounds, cool features like this are really the in thing. After you get bored with it, it's just one setting that you can change, and boom, you're done. The last thing I want to kind of leave you with, and I know we're going over an overview of all these different websites, is that I don't want you to be afraid to own your own website name and also be an administrator of your website. You should have someone that you trust, a web person that will build your website for you. Blog sites, nice edgy blog sites, you know, they're going to be about $390, and then you'll have hosting probably around $30 a month. For that hosting fee, that company should do everything. They should be able to set up your email. They're not going to set it up on your computer, but they'll get you your email account. They'll give you one. They'll be able to do your backups for you. There's a lot of security in knowing that someone else who's proficient in it can take care of it. If you have a business,